fans. You can feel something growing in our student section, in our community. A number of young people came to the game today, some recruits, and was really pleased that that type of turnout was reciprocated by the effort from our team. I thought everybody that touched the game played with great effort. We got a lot of things to clean up, especially on the defensive end, but to have 19 assists and 7 turnovers and plus 10 in the offensive glass was really important. Give Missouri State credit. They got an injury to a key player. They retooled. They shot the ball extremely well. They kept fighting. Got a lot of respect for Coach Martin and his crew. But this was a really good win against a team that we've got a lot of history with in this region. So was happy with the performance and the energy of our team today.
You took it away from them steadily in the first half. What did you think kind of turned as things went that allowed you to separate late in the first half?
I thought we finally strung together some stops. We got off to a good lead. I think it was 13-7, and made a couple substitutions. That lineup did not perform very well. It got close again, and then it just kind of lingered for a while. And we're going to have to look at the tape and see where all our breakdowns were, but we need to defend better. Again, give credit to them. They've retooled since their last game because of the injury to an important post player that they threw it to a lot. They really got going from 3 today. But I thought there was a lineup, and I'm going to give a lot of credit to Ramad Dean. I thought he gave us a real jolt of energy on the offensive glass, keeping balls alive, jamming the outlets in the full court pressure, just keeping them off balance. And then we started making some shots and getting a lead.
You mentioned that you went to a different group fairly early on in this game. What were you trying to get out of that group that you didn't think you got?
It's been pretty consistent, our substitution pattern of when we're going with guys, some just before the first media or during the first media or just right after. That group has performed well before, but I thought their pressure hurt some of our offensive rhythm, and we've got to be able to look at that. And then I thought that they were able to get the ball inside. They got a couple offensive rebounds. I just thought that they played with better energy than us during a segment of that first half.
It seems like Tyler Barron seems to be one of your best success stories of the season. How would you evaluate the way he played today?
I thought tonight or this afternoon was Tyler's best game as a Golden Hurricane. And not that he's not had other good moments, but and I told him he's a plus 28. I mean, that'll just tell you something. And he had some nice passes. He kept the ball alive. I thought he ran hard. He maximized and emptied his tank when he was out there. So really, really proud of him.
His story's relatively well known. So go back a little bit. What did you see in him as a guy who hadn't played in 2 years that made you want to bring him here last year and then continue through that development process over the last 2 years, or year and a half?
There was a number of things. I mean, it was later in the recruiting process. We were looking for size. And as you know, size is the hardest thing to recruit in today's landscape. And we saw a guy who was very mature, had a lot of life experiences, a unique perspective that we thought would be good in our locker room, someone who was going to value the degree here at TU, but someone with great potential. Now, when we brought him in, he was 200 pounds and 6'10", and knew he was a long ways away. But from some of the things we saw, we even brought him in and worked him out, per NCAA rules, and just saw that he's got good feel. The ball spins out of his hands nice. There was something there. It was going to take a lot of work for him. He gained 30 pounds. He's so much stronger. We're still trying to get him to gain even more and eat more and do all those types of things, but he's a mature guy in our locker room, and we're happy he's here.
You talked about this after ORU, so is Miles Barnstable going to start a poster company now after does he now do you continue to be unsurprised now every time he kind of gets like that and gets loose in the middle?
Well, I've seen that in practice, so we're not surprised. Our team. I did joke with them, like, we didn't respond well after. Everybody was stunned that it happened in a game, but He is super explosive, and he's getting more explosive. Like, he's doing things, like he's progressively getting better, and he'll tell you that this is the strongest he's ever felt. This is the most balance in his base that he's ever felt. And as a coach, that's what's really fun, is watching guys get better.
This is a game where you didn't mess around in the second half. I mean, you progressively got better in the first half, and then you just kind of put them away in the second half. How, I guess, good do you feel about maybe how this team is starting to kind of come together in that way and produce this type of result that you would want or expect?
Well, we just expect to try to take the situation and give it our best, one possession at a time. You know, I thought Ade hits the three at the end of the first half. That was big. And then we tried to get the ball inside to David Green the first possession of the second half, and he makes a beautiful read and kicks it across the court to Tylen Riley for a three. So in two consecutive possessions, we get threes. It's 6-point swing very quickly. And, you know, we've been challenging our guys to compete each possession. We're trying to play with depth. We're trying to play max effort, 2, 3, or 4 minutes at a time, with different lineups. But there's every game is a little bit different. And so, you know, we talked about just continue to play really good ball. Even that group at the last 5 minutes that said, hey, try to win your segment now. These are important possessions, and I thought those guys did that.
With all the turnover that you have on the roster, things that happen from year to year probably don't mean that much to the group that's there. From a coaching perspective, how meaningful is it to beat a team like this the way you did after having such a tough game against them last year? Does it mean anything different to you, or is it just kind of just another one on the list?
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, I look at every game as its own game. You know, I do appreciate the historical perspective of the game. I am very much into that. You know, I want to say hello to Lynna Weston. I saw in the stands and was finally able to introduce her to my wife. She was the secretary here when I was a GA, and we had a heck of a game. I think we won 61-55 maybe at their place, and it was a heck of a game. And so I love the history of all this, but every team is different, every week is different, every game is different. We just want to play our best ball one day at a time.
What does the schedule look like for you the next several weeks, and how between kind of exams and the games that you have left do you prepare for next week, couple of road trips, then conference play starting in about 3 weeks?
So me personally, I really look no longer than a week at a time. And especially for right now, Monday is our last actual day of class, and then we go into a reading period and then finals. So just prepare our guys. Like, we're off the rest of today and tomorrow for basketball purposes, but I know they've got a lot of work to do. We've got 2 games next week. I will look just one game at a time. I won't look any further past than Arkansas Pine Bluff, but our coaches, of course, are. And we have scouting that's spread out in different responsibilities that go further in advance. But right now we're just focused on, hey, what do guys have next week academically? How do we marry that to what we're trying to do to get better basketball-wise, of course, and just do our best to get ready for an Arkansas Pine Bluff team that just had a really nice win on the road. So you got to be ready for everybody.
Anything else for Coach? Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, everybody.